One of the most frustrating parts about working on a cruise ship is not knowing exactly how long it's actually going to take to get hired. Now, you simply apply and you wait. Sometimes you wait for weeks, sometimes it's for months. So the real question here is, how long does it really take to actually get hired on a cruise ship? So in this video, I'm actually going to break that down for you and give you a timeline so that at the end of the day, you can know exactly what to expect. Now, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Wandile Sambane, and I help aspiring cruise ship employees get hired faster, avoid scams by providing them a clear step-by-step roadmap from CV up until contract. Now, the reason this process feels extremely long is simply because there are multiple steps that are involved, and each step will really depend sometimes on the recruiters, because recruiters will have, let's say, different hiring processes and systems that they use to hire candidates. Sometimes it's going to depend entirely on the cruise line demand. Now, cruise ships hire all year round, but sometimes there are simply slow seasons or months whereby they will not need any candidates to be on board. It doesn't mean that they have stopped hiring, but it simply means that, let's say, the demand at that specific point is not that much. Also, it will depend largely on your documents. Now, when we speak about documents, we are speaking about step number 6 in my 7-step process. However, there are certain documents that are really important so that you can make sure at the end of the day that you can fast track your process. Documents like the most important thing, that is your travel passport. Now, when it gets to visas you will not be able to get up until, let's say, you get a job offer. Also, things like medical, it's going to depend entirely on the cruise ship, what types of medicals that they use. But in some cases, I know that I do not advise people to do STCWs, especially when you do not have a job. Now, let me clarify something here. I do recommend that you get STCWs if, let's say, you are in a financially good position, but it does not mean that having an STCW will guarantee you a job. In this case, when I say get your documents ready, it simply means that if you do get that job offer now and they do need those STCWs, you can be in a position where you can fast track, let's say, the process. But again, I don't want you to worry more about STCWs, especially when you are in the beginning. Now, another thing that it will really depend on, let's say, it is your readiness. Now, your readiness will include everything we've talked about, and of course, let's say things like interviews and so on and so forth. So it's not really about just applying. It's actually about how prepared you are. Now, this is one of the passions that I share, to be able to take people through the process. This is why I've developed Cruise Hire Academy, and I actually take you guys from the very first step up until you join the ship. I assist you with all the documentation, the visas, the CVs, you name it. But then again, I know that I've gotten some people who are asking me, when, let's say, are you opening them, let's say, the academy again? So in this case, if maybe you see this video by the time we're not hosting masterclasses or we're simply on pause with the academy, please do me a favor. Stay in tune, because at the end of the day, I'm going to, let's say, post updates here on the community or on my social media if you follow me there. So really, this is, like I said, this is something where I'm passionate to take you through up, let's say, from the time that you have to do your CV up until the 7th step. If you've seen my videos on the 7-step process, you know what I'm talking about. If not, simply go through, let's say, the channel and you will see what I'm talking about. Now, let's say, break it down in simple terms. The first thing that I really want you to pay attention on here is that on average, it can take anywhere, let's say, between 1 month up until 4 months to finally get hired and get on board on a cruise ship. Now, sometimes it can, let's say, be faster. Sometimes it can be longer. Now, the timeline will depend entirely on you more than, let's say, whatever that you think that, let's say, the recruitment process it will depend entirely on you, like I said earlier on your readiness and things like that. Let me give you an example. It has taken me to transition from my previous job to come here almost less than a month. Now, guess what? I had my CV in hand, so I applied the day I was disembarking on my previous job. And guess what? They replied, I think within 3 days. And within a week, I had the interview done. Within, let's say, 10 days, I had a response. Now, here's where it gets tricky. Not only did I get a response, but I had my documents ready. I had my visa in place. I had my medicals in place. Actually, I was lucky, I guess, because from my previous job, they actually used exactly the same medicals in this company than the previous one. I had my Schengen visa, I had my C1D visa. So what I'm trying to say here is, like I said, it depends on your readiness. It depends how prepared you are. But if you are in a position again where you are just starting out, like I said, the timeline can range from 1 month to 4 months. Now, to some people, I know that the timeline can simply take longer than that. And guess what? It's because I've seen that most people do not have an idea of what they are doing. Most people don't even know how to structure a professional CV. Most people want to start with the documentation, which is step number 6, whereby they are skipping steps before even the documentation. So you end up wasting time. You end up doing things that are unnecessary in your situation. So this is why, again, I said, in the academy, I take you through step by step, from step number 1 up until step number 7, guaranteeing that, guess what, you land your dream cruise ship job. Now, step number 1 is going to be, let's say, the application. And this can take anything between 1 to 3 weeks. Now, I'm speaking realistically in a position where you are starting off and you don't have the experience. The example I made earlier on, to be on board, let's say, in less than a month, would be for people that are in a similar situation than mine. But for you, my friend, right now, this will take you approximately 1 to 3 weeks. This is where now you submit your CV. This is where the preparedness comes in, because before you even submit your CV, you should make sure that you have a professional ATS winning CV, so that at the end of the day, when you submit your CV, you know that you're going to at least increase your chances, guess what, of let's say, getting noticed by the cruise hiring agency or the company itself. Now, the next thing, you're going to apply. Once you submit your CV, you're going to apply through, let's say, an agency or the website. Now, there are agencies that hire worldwide, and there are agencies that hire for specific nationalities. There are companies that work with specific agencies. Now, you need to know, I'm not going to go in depth about the agencies. I've actually shared this in the past, and again in the academy, this is one of the things that we do. Now, once you apply, the tip that I can give you here is your CV needs to be really, really strong. Because guess what? If you have a strong CV, your move even faster. Step number 2 is the interview. This again can take anything between 1 to 3 weeks. This is where you're going to go through the initial screening. This will be, let's say, done by the hiring agency. This is where they're going to check your background. This is where they're going to check that, are you the candidate that fits the profile or the requirements of, let's say, the cruise line. This is where you're going to move through, let's say, if you make it through the initial screening, this is where you're going to move either in some cases through the second interview and up until the final interview. It depends on the company, honestly. Some companies, they can have 2 interviews. So you do the initial and then the final interview. Some companies will do 3 interviews where, let's say, in a case where there's an agency involved, then once the agency clears you off the initial stage or the initial screening, then they will pass you over, let's say, to the human resources manager of the company. Once the human resource or HR manager clears you, then they will pass you to the corporate of the company who is in charge of the department that you are applying for. Then once you clear that, you'll move on to the next step. Now, the tip I can give you here is be prepared in terms of the interviews, because this is where people get stuck. In most cases, they don't know how to answer or how to prepare in the right way for the interview, so that at the end of the day, they can get hired. And like I said, this is where most people get stuck. And as a reminder, this is one of my passions, again, like I mentioned earlier, to take you through all the steps to make sure that you are even prepared for the interviews. Now, step number 3, this is where the offer and documents come into play. And this can take anything, again, between 2 to 6 weeks. Now, once you get here, you will need to, let's say, accept your offer of employment. You will need to, let's say, get your medical tests, depending on the company, what type of medicals that they are using. Once you get to that step, you will know, because they will share with you. This is where you're going to get the necessary visas, like your C1D visa, your Schengen visa, your Australian visa, or wherever, let's say, you're going to be joining the ship. This is where, again, the contracts come into play. This is where, let's say, the certificates come into play, like the HTCWs that I mentioned earlier, etc., etc. Now, again, this is where most delays happen, because you can find that even when some people got the offer, they already got a possible joining date, you might find that they fail the visa interview, or you might find that there's some complications with the medicals, or in some cases, maybe some people weren't prepared, guess what, to pay for STCWs, or they didn't budget for it. This is why, again, it's extremely important to be prepared, to know the steps. And this is one thing I wish someone could have told me when I started. And that is one of the reasons why, when I noticed that there's a lot of people out there who, let's say, are struggling within the process, who have no idea what to do. This is one of the reasons why I developed the academy, to be able to take you step by step. Step number 4 is your deployment, and this can take anywhere between 2 to 8 weeks. This is where, again, the waiting for available positions will happen. In a case where, let's say, there's a rotation that the ships work with, in a case where there isn't available positions, this is where the waiting happens. It's different when, let's say, there's a new ship coming on, as an example, where they'll be taking a large number of people. Or in most cases, when that's not happening, again, like I said, this is where the waiting happens, where they'll put you in the pool and they will wait for, let's say, available positions. This is where, again, flight arrangements take place. Now, this is where you can start, let's say, celebrating, because if they send you your flights, it only means one thing. It means that you are one step closer to boarding the ship. Now, if I can give you a tip here, my friend, this step or this process up until this step requires extreme patience. This is one of the questions I get from many people throughout the comments on social media, here on the community. I've been waiting one day, what's going on? I'm not sure. This is what happened, on so on and so forth. This is why I'm saying this process requires a lot of patience. You need to be patient with yourself. I know that when you're in a position where you need the job, you might have little or run out of patience. This is why I recommend that you do not quit your current job, even when you got the offer, up until when you are 100% sure that you've cleared everything. The only thing waiting is that you board that plane. This is where now you can say, okay, I will give either a month's notice or whatever that suits your case. Now, this is maybe what I can give you in addition to speed up, let's say, the process. A bit of tips. If you really want, let's say, to move faster in this process, you really need to have your documents ready. Like we spoke earlier on, you need to have a strong CV. That is ATS, that's going to get you, let's say, noticed. If again you are in a position where you can get the TCWs, I do not recommend it if, let's say, financially you're not in a good position. If you are 100%, you can get these and prepare for them. This is where you need again to prepare for interviews before you even start the process. This is where you need, even, let's say you're in a position where you've applied, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks pass, you don't get a reply. You can, let's say, send up a professional follow-up to ask in a professional way, let's say, on the status of your application. Now, the key here, like I said, and I cannot emphasize this enough, you need to be prepared, because candidates that are prepared, guess what? They move faster, my friend. So the final, let's say, answer to everything or to this question is, if you really add up everything and you're prepared, you've got your documents, you're doing everything the way that you're supposed to do it, within 4 months, you should be able to be on board. 1 month, like me, if you're in a position similar to me, but realistically speaking, 4 months should be enough to get you on board. Now, I know that some people might take longer than that. As I said earlier on, it depends on you, my friend, and on your individual, let's say, circumstance. Now, again, just as a reminder, for those that are really struggling, because believe it or not, I've seen people that say, I've been applying for 3 years, I've been applying for 4 years with no reply. My question to you is, what it is that you're getting wrong? Maybe you can share this with us by leaving it in the comments, and we can see how we can be able to move forward. And perhaps this is why I recommend that maybe you should join our academy. So I want you to imagine this, my friend. You're in a position where you simply apply. You now understand the process. You stay and you are prepared. You stay patient and you are prepared. And a few months from now, guess what? You own a plane, my friend, ready to board your ship. You are in a new environment. You have a new income and you have a new life. Now, if you really want more, let's say, step-by-step training on how to get your job on a cruise ship and get hired faster, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button. Turn on the bell notification icon so you do not miss any new step-by-step training that we post weekly. Because every week I'm going to be posting trainings to make sure that I can help you succeed in your cruise ship journey. Now, your opportunity is not far, my friend. You just need one thing. You need to stay consistent. Now, it was a pleasure presenting this video to you, my friend. I will see you in the next coming weeks when I post more videos. For now, this is Wandile Sambane signing off. Until the next one, goodbye, my friend.